My name is Ryan Holder. I want to welcome you all to Tiger Adventures here at Circus World. This is a very cool opportunity for us. Throughout the year, my Tigers and I travel with different circuses. We work in big tops and in buildings for the Shriners. But for a couple of months, we get to sit here and relax in beautiful Baraboo and get to share with you guys more of a behind-the-scenes look as to how we train our animals and why we train them. How we're able to not only develop some cool behaviors for our show, so we can take care of our boys and girls and be able to build a relationship with them. It doesn't require fencing. All of our tigers have been born right here in the United States. It has been illegal since the 1970s to import tigers from the wild because of the passage of the Endangered Species Act. My oldest two girls I've been with for 9 years and are 14 years old. Now to put this in perspective, in the wild, 50% of tigers will not survive past the age of 2. 50%. But here in human care, they can live up to 20 to 25. And although my girls are getting older, they're still very healthy animals. This is a part because they get to think for a living. They get to work for a living. And these factors contribute to a healthy longevity. We also have a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old. My two largest tigers are my two boys. These guys are grown into monsters. Hey buddy, how are you?
Oh, they're cute.
Right? This is Diego. Now when Diego was first born, he was about 1.5 pounds. He was just a little guy. When he and his brother Zeus joined me at 4 months of age, they were 60 pounds already. And they're now almost 500 pounds and still growing. And just like any teenage boy, these guys are pushing the food bill through the roof. We are feeding upwards of 70 to 80 pounds of raw meat a day.
Crikey.
They get a diet of beef, chicken, organ meats. They get a vitamin supplement, they get fish oil, everything that they need to have a healthy and balanced diet. Now when we start working with our animals for behaviors in our show, we have different tools that we use to lead them around, to show them where it is we want them to go, and how we want them to get there. We can't physically restrain our animals like we do with some species. With dogs, we use leashes. With horses, we use reins and bridles. And as relaxing as it sounds, as warm as it's been, I'm pretty sure if I tried putting a leash on these guys, they'd be taking me for a ride down the Baraboo River. Good girl. So we start with target training. Good girl. Good girl. We start with target training. We lead them around. We show them to focus their attention at the end of our target stick by putting a piece of meat there. Good girl. Good girl. We can show them exactly where it is we want them to go and how we want them to get there. Good girl. Very nice. Good girl. We also use different types of whips like we use with horses. Now these tools don't bother the animals at all. We dropped it. What it does do is allow us a lot of flexibility. Because not only does it offer me another extension of my arms, like our target stick, but it gives them a way to understand what it is that we're asking because we're using all of their senses. It's something they can see, it's something they can hear, and a way that we can touch them on different parts of their body to cue them which direction we want them to go. Good girl. And because we're using all their senses, it makes it very easy because they don't speak English. They only know the words that we teach them, just like our dogs at home. How many of you guys have dogs at home? Almost everybody. More of a cat person, myself, if you can't tell. But these guys train a lot like dogs. We can teach them a lot of the same behaviors as well. We can teach them to lay down. Go ahead. Or to play dead. Ready? Go ahead. Or to roll over.
Cool, man.
And then we can work on repeating these behaviors. Ready? So we start choreographing a presentation for you. Ready? Oh.
Oh.
All right, good girl. Oh, very nice. Everybody give her a big round of applause. See? Good girl. These are circus tigers. They do a good job. Make sure you guys let them know. Give them a good round of applause. They deserve it. The key with training is timing. We want to reinforce the right behaviors at the right time. And we want to interrupt the wrong behaviors at the right time. So to do so, for one, I carry around a pocket full of rump roast. It's certainly not cheap at $6 a pound, but it's the best way to reward good behavior. And to interrupt the wrong behaviors, we teach our tigers the most important word in the world, just like we teach our children, and that's the word no. Now we'll take these basic behaviors, like you just saw with Zahara, and we will practice those over and over until the tigers have begun to master those. And then we can use those to start building group behaviors for our performance. Are you ready, buddy?
What a scoop.
Group behavior that we have, because all of our tigers are very different individuals. They all have very different personalities, and we have to get to not only work under direction, but to work together as well. You'll start to see my oldest girls here are very loud, they're very assertive. What everybody thinks that they're big and scary. And I'll play up on that a little bit to make it more exciting. My boys are the exact opposite. They're incredibly crazy. Boys, Zulu is about as sharp as bowling ball in her best day. We love her anyway.
Not normal,
Mary's my
right?
favorite, but we don't know her. And Zaya, she's very quiet, she's very reserved. She's supposed to do her job and have everybody leave her alone so we can relax at the end of the day. We have all of these different personalities. We have to figure out their different likes, their different dislikes. What works for one tiger with training may not work for another. So we have to take these different factors into account so we can make a nice, conducive learning environment and we can set everyone up to succeed. And they're all doing very well right now. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Now our two boys are brothers. They were born in the same litter. Zeus's white coloration is caused by a recessive trait. It's the same genetic process that causes people to have blue eyes. If both parents are carriers of that trait, they have a possibility of producing that in their offspring, even if they don't exhibit it themselves. White tigers are the product of a naturally occurring genetic mutation that first occurred in the wild. There's records back to the 1500s of white tigers growing to adulthood in northern India, and even mothers raising their cubs. But unfortunately, the last wild white tiger was killed in the 1950s. Fortunately, through good breeding programs here in the United States and around the world, we're able to continue on these bloodlines, be able to share them with you all. No. What are you doing? Come here. Sit down. You need to be patient. Sit. Go ahead. You need to be patient, please. Thank you. We don't breed our tigers here. My two boys are neutered. It's one reason they're so lazy, but it's a heck of a lot easier trying to teach them responsible family planning. We want to add a new tiger to our group. Different zoos have given us animals over the years. We're able to continue to share with you all our goals of conservation through education and education through entertainment. Because conservation is about more than just making more animals. It's about raising awareness and educating and helping to fundraise to protect wild tiger habitat. Over the last 3 years, we have raised over $16,000 that has gone directly toward benefiting wild tiger habitat in Sumatra. We're going to talk about that later in our show, but how about a round of applause for Zeus for being patient? Now, we don't just train our animals for behaviors in our show. We also train for husbandry to be able to take care of them. To be able to do so makes our veterinarians' job a lot easier. Because we travel all over the United States, we have a network of vets that have seen our animals over the years, and they come to check on us whenever we're in town. And seeing a veterinarian so often also helps us to make sure that our paperwork is always in order. Because with every different city, every different state that we travel to, the laws can vary. And we want to make sure that we're always in compliance. To help us with these health checks, our tigers are trained for a variety of behaviors. We can teach them to relax their jaw in my hand. So we can check their eyes, their ears, their nose. We can open their mouths and check their teeth. Say yeah? No. No. Say yeah? We can pick up their feet to check their claws, make sure everything's healthy and sharp. But because it is illegal to declaw a big cat for any reason other than a medical purpose, we can even draw blood through a vein on their tails. And we can do all of these health checks without having to risk the dangers of sedation. And being able to do so allows us to be proactive about our animals' health care. Because our tigers don't just live for our 2 20-minute performances every day. They live for 24 hours a day. So it's my responsibility, not only as their owner, but their trainer and their caretaker, to make sure everybody is happy and healthy, and cared for and comfortable all day, every day. Ready? Good girl. No. 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 No.
Way past cool. Fantastic!
Now all the behavior. Now in addition to tigers' different personalities, they also all have different relationships in the group. Tigers in the wild are solitary animals. They don't live together in groups in the wild because there's not a large enough prey population to support a big group of predators like we would have with lions in Africa. However, all of our tigers have grown up in human care. A lot of them have grown up together, and most importantly, because of training and supervision, they've all developed different relationships in the group. Some of them are best of friends. Some of them tolerate each other at best, but we'll work them because that's what they're asked to do. This is why during the day you'll see them living together in different groups. We do this so that everybody is comfortable and we can avoid conflict. We have a lot of different factors to take into account. Their different personalities, their different relationships, different distractions, the weather. We have to take these all into account so we can work together safely and smoothly and put together a nice finished product for our presentation.
Oh, man.
all the behaviors you're seeing the tigers perform today are based on natural behaviors that they exhibit in their everyday lives. We take these natural movements and we associate them with different words, different sights, different sounds, or different touches, so we can perform these together upon request. So with a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a heck of a lot of meat, we're able to train and share something with you all that you normally wouldn't get to see very often anywhere else. Go. Go. Good. Keep going. Go. No, go. Good. Go. Easy. Go. Good. Easy.
You almost clawed the trainer.
Like we said, all these behaviors are based on natural movements. I'm not telling you in the wild, you're going to see a bunch of tigers walking backwards on their hind legs, singing Billie Jean and doing the moonwalk. But that's how tigers play and how they fight. They'll bounce up on their hind legs and they'll knock each other around. We build upon natural movements to make something exciting for our show. However, tigers are very lazy animals. They will also sleep up to 20 to 22 hours a day because they only eat meat, and protein is hard for the body to break down. It takes long periods of rest to digest. Who drops it? Can I please set up? One more time. 1, 2, 3. There you go. And we invite you guys to visit us on our Facebook page at Show Me Tigers. We put pictures and videos up all the time of more of the behind-the-scenes care and training of our animals. Anyone who shares and exhibits their animals with the public is licensed and regulated by the United States Department of Agriculture. Regardless of whether we call ourselves a zoo, a circus, a sanctuary, or a private owner like myself, we are all subject to the same rules, the same regulations, because regardless of what we call ourselves, what is important is how our animals are cared for. We are very proud of our record. Over the last 7 years, our last 26 consecutive surprise inspections by the federal government have been without a single issue. We are very proud of that record. I'm very proud to be able to share our animals with you all today. Good.
Oh, man.
Good. Good girl.
That's
Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
I have that for you.
And like we said, all of our tigers were born right here in the United States. They've all had the luxury of growing up with the guarantees of food, shelter, protection, love, and affection. But wild tigers are not so lucky because of a black market for their different body parts, habitat loss, human tiger conflict, and disease. There are less than 3,500 tigers left in the wild in their native ranges from eastern Russia down into Southeast Asia and the Indonesian islands. We have lost over 97% of the world's wild tiger population in the last 100 years. We are proud to be able to offer our animals a safe and a caring home, to be able to share them with you all, and to develop something that nobody else in the world does. I like to call it finger painting with an apex predator. With our 6-year-old Tiger Zuri, we make paw prints using kids' washable finger paint. It's a cool souvenir to take home at the end of your day. They're available in the gift shop on your way out. But more importantly, the proceeds of every paw print are helping us to protect wild tigers that don't have the same luxuries that ours do. Through a partnership with the International Elephant Foundation, Show Me Tigers has pledged $20,000 over a 4-year period towards protecting wild tigers in the Waikambas National Park in Sumatra. Sumatra has less than 400 tigers left. They're the last of the island subspecies. They've lost over 50% of their natural forest cover since 1985 due to the expansion of plantations for the paper industry, the pulp industry, and something that's in everything that we call palm oil. We're helping to support conservation response units, which are park rangers protecting wild tiger habitat, as well as the habitat of their prey and helping to prevent poaching activities. This year, we have doubled our annual pledge. We are raising $10,000 this year alone, half of which is going toward a new project to help restart patrols in the 2nd Sumatra National Park. We are proud to have our circus tigers lending a paw to help protect wild tigers. We hope you guys will do the same. I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. If you guys have any questions, come on up to the fence. We'd be happy to talk to you in person. Enjoy the rest of your day.